Hey, hello.
Welcome back to another episode of the Pink Standard Pod, Zoom edition.
Woohoo!
How are you?
I'm Eliana,
I'm
and
Lydia.
yes, and we decided that we're co-hosts, right?
We're co-hosts. So do we say, what do you mean we decided we're co-hosts?
Like we are both like co-hosts, right? Meaning that we're both
Host.
hosting this.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Okay, shoot, you're a little...
Because I always tell people, I'm like, I co-host a podcast with one of my friends.
Yeah, but sometimes I do say I host a podcast with one of my friends. So I think it could be interchangeable like that.
Okay, cool.
But I like co-host.
Either way, whatever.
We're hosting.
Yeah, the girls get it.
In charge of this thing, it's ours. We do it.
We produce for the editors. We are all the above. And we are ready to get started with our licks of the week.
Okay, you go first.
Mine, I think it is very specific to the situation. And because I feel like it could be like a lick or an ick. And I've had it be an ick before. But right now it's currently a lick.
Okay, do tell.
When a guy can sing. And I can't believe I just said that, but I think that I'm in the clear, so I think we're good.
When a guy can sing. Okay, why was this an ick previously?
Because it gave me Ken from Barbie.
Yeah,
But like I was totally Barbie this past week.
So it was just like when it's mixed with like the theatrical arts, kind of like too artsy, it gives you an ick.
I think it just depends on like the person, because I know people or guys who will just like whip out their guitar and think that they're good, but I love like a good like campfire vibe, or like a guy that is very nonchalant and it's not his entire personality. Love.
100% agree, because I think there's those people that when they can sing, they make sure everyone knows they can sing and it becomes their entire personality. Ick.
Yes.
But I know like when someone is multi-dimensional and has other fascinating things about them and they can sing really well and know like when to share that, I think that's 100% a lick. I agree.
Yes.
Okay. I love
anyway,
that.
give us yours.
Okay. Mine is, it's 2 words. It's very simple. It is when your partner, it has to be like a partner or else it's weird, when your boyfriend, your husband just says, come here.
Get on over here.
What?
Get on over here.
Just come here. Like, I want you to be like if we're sitting on 2 ends of the couch, he'll just be like, come here. And just like wants to get closer, like cuddle, or it has to be like obviously when we're like lounging.
Right.
And it's a very like endearing, not like domineering, like not like bossy, like get over here. It's like just like a cute, like, come here, I want to be closer to you.
No, wait, that's actually really sweet.
Right?
I think because before in an episode we talked about those like nonchalant, we called them something else, but those like subtle touches. Like you're walking in like a crowded area and he like puts his hand behind his back so that you can like follow him.
Yes.
Or like hand behind the waist, not too low to where it's like, okay, like chill, but like I'm gonna guide you, or like a soft touch like on your face, or like, so that kind of goes in the same realm of that, to where it's like, I want you to know that I want you near me. Love. That's actually really sweet.
I know. It's like my favorite thing. And Jake, my husband, is like so quick to say that. And I just think coming from a guy, it just means so much more, because like they want to be close to you and like have that physical affection. And so, yeah, that's a lick for me. I love it.
I'm so single, but no, that's so sweet. I'm so happy for you.
One day you'll get the come here.
Right. Yes. Can't wait. But hey, we are gonna kind of, I keep wanting to look back at the camera, but we're gonna go ahead and jump into, we have both some boy questions, and then we have a really good friend listener question that we're going to do at the end. So I can go ahead and start off on my boy question.
Okay.
Because I feel like a lot of girls can relate to this, but it is, do you think a guy that likes you will ever genuinely think that you're crazy? Because I know some girls, I've been the girl who's like done some crazy stuff. And to some people, like they've been like, that's crazy. And I was like, well, I don't think it's crazy because like I genuinely like, I want to do it. And the more I think about it, I'm like, I don't think a guy, if he genuinely likes you, he's going to think it's crazy either. Like, I think he's going to think that it's crazy awesome. Right?
I
Please.
think I agree with you on this one because I think the term crazy, psychotic ex, whatever people like to pull out, is usually after the relationship's over. And it's usually coming from a place of not always, like, there are genuine instances where like people are taking it across a line that doesn't need to be crossed of crazy. But I think it's just an easy way for a guy to like try to cancel out his lingering feelings that are still there by just coining that the girl's crazy. And I do think if you're in love with someone and they are pursuing you in what could be perceived as a crazy way, I don't think it comes off as crazy because you're feeling the pursuit of that and feeling like, oh, this person loves me so deeply, like they're willing to do this for me. And so I agree, like that love kind of like puts your blinders on from what other people might view as crazy.
Agreed. And I think it could even go to like, I need to stop saying like. Oh, I was going to try to be a lot better about that. And I am starting now. But I think that even in the liking stages of someone, even if like you just saw them for a quick 10 minutes and you both had that mutual attraction to each other, I think someone being super intentional, finding your Instagram, finding out your number, finding out something about you, reaching out to your friends to reach out to you. If you had the same feelings towards that one person, you wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, this guy is crazy. You would be like, oh my gosh, I love him. I love him and I'm going to marry him. So,
I think
yeah, what were you going to say?
online stalking, for lack of better terms, is like the modern day pursuit because, you know, back in the day, like they'd get on their horses and they'd ride to like the girl's house and knock on her door. Like they had to like actually now I need to stop saying like, they had to actually physically chase this girl down because they didn't have like the online methods of connecting with someone like we do. And so I think there's kind of like the same intention and heart behind both those things of just putting yourself out there to find someone you like and connect with them.
I think so too. So basically, what we're saying is be a little bit crazy because the right person is going to be attracted to your crazy.
Exactly.
And if they do think you're crazy and they're not interested, then they're just not your person. And I think that definitely transfers into friendships as well, because I was with this one girl who was so funny this past week, and I could not stop laughing around her. And she like liked this guy a little bit, but then the more like we all hung out together, she was like, I think that he isn't matching like my vibe. And I was like, so like he's just not your guy. And
Yeah.
it was so awesome to see her just like keep being herself and then be okay with this guy just not being her guy. Not that this guy was rude at all. They just weren't on the same wavelength or whatnot. But that didn't stop her from being just like, she is hilarious. And I was like, do not ever stop being yourself. Because one day, a guy that is just as funny, if not funnier, is going to come and hype you up. So just be yourself.
I love that because what's the first thing to go when someone likes someone and it's not reciprocated is they try to change themselves for that person.
Ooh.
I mean, like, no, I love that for her. I think so many more girls need to be more self-aware. And just the fact that she was like able to spot that he wasn't really vibing and like to know that she would just like move on and back off from him. So much self-awareness. I love that.
No, it was awesome. And the coolest thing when you are 100% authentically yourself is that you allow others to be 100% authentically themselves. And so I can tell you without a doubt that this girl, being just 100% herself, allowed the rest of us in the group to just like be ourselves and not worry at all. And I just even told her, I was like, thank you so much. Like that is one of the coolest things I think a person can do. And one thing I feel like I'm always pretty authentically myself, but even just becoming more vulnerable, you just allow others to be that. And it is such a beautiful thing.
It really is.
But
Oh, I love that.
yeah, it was cool. Anyway, give me your question.
Okay. My first one is, well, let me just paint the picture for you. Okay. So, this actually is based on a true story of something that happened to me last week at the gym. And I was just like there's a little table like by the front where I have my water bottle and I was just getting a little drink before in between my sets. And this guy like happened to be there at the same time as me. I don't think he like intentionally came up to the table because I was there, but he just started making conversation with me. He was like, "Hey, how's it going? How's your day going?" I don't know. I think he like said something about the weather. I mean, small talk, but I made small talk back and I was like, I mean, I'm fully happily married, but there's like something obviously cordial and nice about responding to someone. But then after it was like a very quick instance and I went ahead and left the table and like moved on to my next thing. But then I was like genuinely curious, like, was that a guy's version of hitting on me? Or do you think a guy can just do that and want to be like a nice person? But we were both of like the same age group, same demographic. Like, I don't know. I was just like, like, do guys flirt like that? Or was he just being kind and personable?
So I think the way that you interpret that depends on where you're at in life. Because if that would have happened to me, I probably would have walked away and been like, oh my gosh, a guy just flirted with me. But so basically your question is when a guy uh un
Like,
when a guy,
no reason.
okay, yeah, is he flirting with you?
Correct.
I think it also depends on the setting that you're in because the gym is such a setting of mind your business, don't talk to people. At least that's how I feel.
Okay, really? Because I feel like the gym is such like a say hey, make small talk when you see someone type of space.
Maybe it's just because I'm not very athletic or like bad at the gym, but I'm like, please do not talk to me. Like, I'm so embarrassed to be here right now.
I think also to do with the type of gym you go to. Like, keep in mind, I am at like a small town. Everyone knows everyone. There's like a couple gyms in town. It's just, I think like, yeah, I think there's two different valid gym experiences I think we're both describing because I could probably think that people would relate to both.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, let's do it in your situation because that's what we're talking about. Because at my gym, it's like at the rec center. And so it's ginormous. You see people there that you've never seen before, and everyone's just like doing their own thing. But I think at a smaller gym experience, I don't know. I think that when someone approaches you that they have no reason to, it's not like you were both reaching for the same dumbbell or something. And so I would consider that his way of flirting with you.
See, I think
Maybe?
so. I thought so too. And I think you also know in the situation, given like body language and just like what the environment is. But I don't think, I guess what I'm trying to say is, I don't think a guy has to be complimenting you, like trying to give you a pickup line, like to be flirting with you. I think just like putting himself in front of you and like making conversation with you could also be like his way of hitting on you.
100%. And I feel like that's how girls flirt most of the time.
True.
Is that very rarely do we go up to a guy and be like, you are so handsome. You're the most handsome man I've ever seen. Oh my gosh. Like, I've never said that. But if I do want to like flirt with a guy, I'll go up and just be like, oh, blah, 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 blah. But do guys see that as flirting?
I don't know.
I'm just going to start going up to people and be like, I'm flirting with you. Ready, go.
Just tell him like straight up. hi, I'm here to flirt. Let's go.
But then at the same time, I go up to so many guys that I don't ever want to flirt with and just make conversation.
Then how are they like?
I don't know.
So you do the exact same thing, but one is flirting and one is just conversation.
Right. So,
Huh. Okay. Well, we'll have to keep doing a social experiment on this one because I can't remember if I was wearing my wedding ring because sometimes I take it off before just so it doesn't get scratched and stuff. So that can be like, I mean, that's a whole nother level, a whole nother scenario to talk about, but I don't know. It was just interesting. I left there and I was like, okay. Don't know what to think of that. But it doesn't matter, obviously, because I'm not in a
right.
position to be looking for that. But yeah, I just thought I'd ask the pod.
That's a good one. How to flirt. I don't know. I don't know.
What is flirting? People are always like, I'm such a good flirt. And I'm like, okay, well, what does that mean?
See, I consider myself really good at talking to people, and some of my friends are like, "You're so flirty. Like you just bebop around and flirt with everyone." But I'm like, I think I just talk to people, and people aren't used to that.
I think also like your bubbliness comes off. I think flirting and playfulness go hand in hand. And I think if you could be
Yeah,
playful with people, a lot of people take that as flirting when you're just being playful and like
yeah,
fun and loose and silly and just like having a good time with it.
yeah. I'm just a girl, so.
Right. Maybe I'm just always
But yeah, who cares?
your own business.
Also, right. When you are flirting and like it's going both ways, tell me of a more fun situation. And I think even in a relationship, love.
Totally.
There is nothing more fun than a good flirting session.
Yes.
You know?
It kind of like is a little bit of an
But okay.
adrenaline rush.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think it's even more fun in a relationship because it is so, I don't think it should be. This is something I'm going to require for my next person as well, is that it's not a scarce thing. Like it is very common
Right.
because I think that it should be. I think it depends on the people too, but if it's something that you do want, make it very clear. Because I get flirty vibes from you and Jake.
Oh, thank you.
It's really sweet to watch. Yes, I think that you guys are just like constantly, not constantly, you guys do a very good job at the subtleness because whenever we were at your house the other night and you guys were both sitting on the couch, like just subtly, your feet were like on him and like you guys were under the same blanket. Like it was just sweet. There was just a sense of sweetness and it was very obvious that you guys wanted to be next to each other, which shouldn't be a rare thing, but it is, which is so sad. But it was just really sweet.
Oh, thanks for noticing that. I think people need to
Yeah.
compliment people's relationships so much more
Yes.
because we're just all out here doing our things. And it is sweet when like someone can notice something cute and fun about a relationship. But anyways, I have another, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, I was just going to say to add on to that. And I think that if there was a time when maybe something was like up, me being able to compliment the good things, I would feel more comfortable bringing up like, hey, I noticed this. I don't know if it's something, but I just want you to know that I noticed this from the outside of you guys. And let's say there was like a little bit of a problem. You'd be like, actually, we are like struggling with this right now. And I feel like me noticing the good things would also make you more comfortable to talk to me about when it's something is hard or something is wrong. You
Totally.
know, I don't
100%.
know.
Like this needs to be another pod episode altogether is how to approach your friends about things, hard things in the relationships. And I think what you just said is like the first step is making sure you notice the positive first, because there's a reason that person is with the other person. There's a reason they're in a relationship. There needs to be like some sort of good. And so I think noticing that automatically gives you that tendency to be more that person that they come to when things are harsh, you know?
Yes, 100%.
Uh,
But okay, give me your next question.
okay, my next one is when a guy likes your Instagram story. We can nitpick like a specific situation or just like take it for face value? Guys liking Instagram stories.
So, a guy liking your Instagram story is, I'm going to backtrack actually. The first thing a guy can do, or anyone can do, is follow, obviously. The next thing is be consistent with liking your posts. Those are two, but at the same time, those mean nothing to me because that's what everyone does. And so the liking of the story is the first move that tells someone, hey, I'm going out of my way because I don't like a story unless it's very intentional. Whereas my friends post, I'm going to like that just because I saw that they posted it. But a story is much more intentional. At the same time, if you're trying to flirt with me, you have to DM me. Because liking my story is the bare minimum thing you can do.
It's a cop out for sure.
And I would never message someone and be like, I saw you liked my story. Like, okay, 20 other people are liking my story. Like, okay, whatever. But if you were to like my story, let's say 3 times, and it's just a picture of me, and it's very obvious that you're not liking my story whenever I'm reposting like a Bible verse or a cute quote or something like that. It's a picture of me. So it's like, okay, that's very intentional. You're obviously telling me you like that picture. Then you have to follow it up with, hey, I don't know, however you DM someone, don't ask me, but there has to be follow up after the liking of the story, 100%.
Yes, because I think it almost gives creepy, which like maybe is like there's this specific guy that likes all of my stories. And to me, I'm like, what are you trying to accomplish here? Like, truly, I mean, what's the point? Like, no one is seeing this but me. And then I try to give him the benefit of the doubt. Like, do you like everyone's story you come across? Is it just like a sit there and kind of like, but I don't know. It's just weird. But I want to go back to what you said about following and liking and how you said they don't matter to you. To me, following matters. I think following is like making a move on someone. Okay,
Really?
back. I take that back. Maybe not fully, but I think following is saying, okay, I want to subscribe to your content in some capacity. Like I care in a certain sense about what you post, whether that comes from like pressures of maybe this person outside of social media, they're mutual friends, like in some way you're being like, I care about your social presence. I want to see what you have to offer. Liking is not as important to me because they're obviously there for a reason. They've followed you for a reason. Whether they like your photos or not has nothing to do with like anything really, I don't think. But I agree, like liking the story is like the next level of, I guess, trying to get someone's attention. But I like a lot of my friends' stories, like you were saying, if they're something out of the ordinary, I resonate with them, they're cute, whatever. But I do think a guy liking a girl's story, if they are trying to pursue that girl or think she's pretty or want to get to know her, like just send the DM. Don't think that just liking the story is going to get you there, because I think we're both agreeing that like you need a little something more.
Yeah. And you had kind of touched on this, but liking the story is also private.
Yes.
Because only the account holder or whatever can see that, which is another interesting component, but you have to do more than just liking the story. Sorry. You got to give a little bit more. But so would you message a guy after he follows you like, hey, I saw you followed me?
I think if you are single and find them like attractive and want to maybe get to know them, like their feed, like I think it's worth being like, hey, maybe you don't have to acknowledge that they followed you, but just say something like, hey, I know we've recently started following each other, blah, blah, blah. Like, would love to get to know you sometime. I don't know. I think a follow, not always, but I think a follow can be kind of making the move.
Okay. I I'm in between on that, but I like where you're going with it for sure.
Especially
Um,
on a private account.
yes, because that shows I want to follow you. Which is yours private?
I don't think it is anymore.
I don't think yours is either. But mine has been public probably ever since high school. Uh, and I don't know. I go back and forth. Now with this, I feel like we kind of have to have a public profile. And I feel like it says more when someone does choose to follow you because they could see your post regardless. But if they're choosing to be intentional and follow you, that means they want to keep those constant updates. So I don't know. We should do an episode over best DMs, a guy and girl. We would have to bring in like Jake or something because
Oh,
we don't know at all.
and obviously it worked for him. So he
It
did.
totally, he's the master of the DMs, which is awesome. I love that story so much. But yeah. Anyway, I don't know if we're going to get to our listener question. Do you want to end it and start it back up?
That's what I was thinking. I don't, yeah, let me do that and then we can talk.
Okay, perfect.
So we're ending the Zoom, getting on another Zoom because my time is running out.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. We are back. We had to take a little break to read video, but we're going to go ahead and start off with our listener question. And this listener question is a lot more applicable than I think we thought at the beginning. But a girl wrote in and she was basically like, a lot of my life has changed. I moved to a new place and my relationship status changed, and making friends is really hard. What are your suggestions? And with Lydia and I both in very different living situations, life situations, different ages, but we still relate on us like a lot of the same things. We not thought that we were qualified to answer this because we still really don't have an answer, but we are at least able to really speak from our life experiences. And so I think I'm going to let Lydia start and then I'll kind of share my side of everything. But we can go ahead and just, yeah, do that.
Okay. When I saw this question, I was like, oh my gosh, this girl, like, this is exactly what I'm going through right now. I've probably mentioned it a couple times on here, like briefly, but I don't think we've ever really dug into it. I got married this summer and moved to a new area in Missouri, Lake of the Ozarks. It has a very small town feel, but it's also very unique in the sense that it becomes a huge tourist destination in the summer months. It's basically just like a big recreational lake with lake bars, and I don't know, it gets wild, but it's also so fun. And something I was really nervous about getting married and moving here was I had like a great core friend group in college, and I knew I was going to be leaving those girls and I would have to like start blank. And not only would I have to start blank, I would have to start over as a young woman starting a new career with literally just like no like circle to come into. And we are like fairly involved in our community, which I will say is like the first step is just find ways to get out of your house. We're involved in our church, so we do that a couple times a week and like meet with people there and socialize in that way. We, like I mentioned earlier, we go to like a local gym here pretty frequently. What else do we do regularly? Well, he's a teacher, so like I'll go to his schooling events. So I'm definitely around people a decent amount, but it's one thing to be around people and another thing to form good, solid friendships within those circles of people. Something else I will say that's been challenging about moving here has been there is not a young demographic here. With Eliana being from here, like we talk about this sometimes. It's the kind of place where like people graduate and move away from because there's not a university here. it's more of like, I guess you could say there's like a good retirement population here. Or like it's a great place to raise a family, but there's just not a huge appeal for like our generation, young to mid to late 20s. Um, so it has been really challenging and it's been in a lot of ways lonely. I'm someone that like really thrives on having good, solid female friendships, and I need to be like physically present with them in order for them to feel like they're being sustained and like I'm truly getting the most out of them. Um, so all this to say is basically I relate to this question, and like Eliana was saying, I'm still kind of like working through it. So I don't know if I can give the best advice. I'm trying to think of like things that I have done, little things like, um, first of all, I think number one, you just have to open up to people that you're struggling with this, because you may not have a big circle right now, but maybe the person you're talking to does. And they can be like, oh, I have a girl in mind that I think you would really like. And so you just have to get vulnerable with people and be like, hey, do you happen to know anyone who might be a good friend for me? And they can connect you. I've had that happen on a couple instances, which has been really fun. And then also just like using social media as a networking tool. We always talk about it, but go to people's pages that you know, like young people in your area, see who they're following, click on their profile. Like I sound so crazy right now, but like see if they have their location in their bio, see if they might be living around the place you are, give them a follow, shoot them a DM, ask them on a walk or coffee. That's like my go-to. If they're not a coffee drinker, I'll do a walk, or yeah, just some whatever, dinner, drinks, whatever. Put yourself out there. It is literally like dating. And you just like have to be willing to look, I don't want to say silly, because I don't think it should be called silly and I don't think it should be called desperate, but you have to have a need and like be willing to express that need to people. And not a lot of people have the courage and strength to do that, because it's hard to look, nobody wants to look lonely. Nobody wants to look like they're missing a part of their life. But I would say those are the two things that have kind of like helped me a little further along in my journey. So that's being vulnerable with the people you do know around you that you are needing new friends, and reaching out sometimes on a whim without ever even having a conversation with someone and getting something in the calendar. But I will keep you guys posted how more things I'm developing and learning through this. But I just want to let you know that like so many girls and guys are going through this and different life changes. It is completely normal. One, do not give up on yourself and your need for friends, because healthy friendships are so important in life. And two, trust the process, continue putting yourself out there, take a risk on people, and you will find your people. It's just, it may take a little longer than you want.
I don't even know if I can follow up with anything that was more perfect than that. Like that was so good. And I think so many people are going to need to hear this. If you're going to listen to anything from this episode, please listen to everything Lydia just said, because oh my goodness, it's something that everyone is struggling with in some capacity, but we're all so scared to talk about it because it is vulnerable and you do have to become really uncomfortable. But oh my goodness, like you opened up so just many areas of your life that people otherwise wouldn't know that you were struggling with and wouldn't feel like they could come to you with. And so, yeah, I don't know. That's just the power of vulnerability. And it's such an amazing, beautiful thing. I really don't know what I could say to follow up, because I agree with everything that you said. One thing that I've learned is be willing to hang out with someone that maybe isn't necessarily your type of friend, because I feel like we are so raised to be around people that we agree with 100%, that look like us 100%. And it's easy to do that whenever you're in high school and college, because there is such a diverse group of people. And so you can kind of pick who you want. But whenever you get older, that group is dwindled down, and it's kind of like, okay, you kind of have to widen your horizons in a sense. And so, yeah, choose to hang out with people who are different from you, because you never know. That could be one of the best friendships of your life, that you would have missed out on otherwise just because they weren't necessarily your type of friend that you were used to. And I think the overarching theme of this is be willing to be uncomfortable, because it is uncomfortable and you don't want to do it, but so many beautiful things will come from you being uncomfortable. And sometimes it's just going to be a season of your life where you are a little bit lonelier, where you have a couple less friends, where you don't have that friend group, where you really have to rely on your significant other. And those hard times play such a vital role in making you appreciate whenever you do get the things that you have been wanting. And not to over spiritualize anything, but if you pray for something, like God is going to answer those in his timing and in his way. And so that's something that I've had to really just rely on in general, is truly praying for the things that I want in my life and just waiting for God to show up. And it's not ever in the timing that I want it to be at all, but his timing and his plan is perfect. So not to really like go crazy over that, but
No, I
we
love
try to,
that.
yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. I mean, it's so huge. And something I will say, like going off what you said, I loved what you said about your friendships are going to look different in adulthood because everyone's 20s look different. That is something we like talk about so often on this podcast is people are having babies, people are starting jobs, people are quitting jobs, people are breaking up, people are getting married, people are moving. It's just a wild time to be alive. And so I think you have to have grace with the people you are trying to become friends with, knowing that it's not going to look like your high school and college friendships. You don't have structured laid out outings for you to go to every weekend. Like people are going to have family things, people are going to have work things, people are just going to need to like rest and recharge. And I think having grace and like adult friendships is huge. Even just like if you're meeting someone with a baby, like letting them know like, hey, it's okay if like you bring your baby to this, because just having like understanding that they may not know how to get childcare, they may not have someone available, maybe they don't feel comfortable leaving their baby with someone else. Like I think that is just a huge way to get close with someone, is just letting them live in their season of life and live your season of life and acknowledge that they don't have to be the exact same and you can still make a friendship work. Don't let those things limit you. So I really liked what you were saying. And I just wanted to like expound on that because that's like a conversation I've been having with myself.
No, I love that. Everything you just said, and yay, I don't think that you could have answered that question more perfectly. So great job on that one.
Thanks.
Okay.
But I think
Yeah.
that wraps it up, honestly.
So, but anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. This is probably one of my most favorite episodes that we've had so far. I feel like I say that every episode,
I know.
but we love doing this. We love that you guys are listening. We love the feedback that you guys have. We love your listener questions. And so please don't ever be scared to write stuff in, to comment on stuff. And yeah, we absolutely love to hear from you guys, and the support that you guys give us is so sweet and it's so encouraging, and it makes us just want to keep doing this even more. And so anyway, we love you guys, and
Truly.
I'm Eliana.
I'm Lydia.
And we are
The Pink Standard.
love you guys.
Bye, guys. Love you.